Hi guys, and welcome back to our Blender Wall-E tutorial, and this is part 13. So at the end of part 12 you should now have a Wall-E figure that looks something like this. We've got the arms, the head and the body mostly done. Now we're going to start working on the hands. So we'll go over to our reference image. We're going to start off by working on this kind of wrist area here where we can have a joint for us to build the hands onto. So this is going to be constructed in a very similar way to the way we constructed this area here, which was at the rear. It's almost the same type of construction, but placed here onto the hands. You'll notice that we still have our mirror modifier there, so everything we do on this left arm will be mirrored to the right. You want to leave that mirror modifier in place, so as you build the hand, it will be replicated on the other side. So I'm going to start off by in object mode creating a cylinder, which we will scale down, and I'm going to scale in the z-axis. We want to make that quite thin, and then we're going to rotate it on the y-axis 90 degrees. Then I'll go to my left side view, put this approximately in position, and we'll go to the top view. It's going to be around this area here. Now we'll go back to our left view, and we're going to want to get the scaling of this correct. So at the moment it's a little bit large. If we check our reference image at the side view, you'll see it's a little bit higher than this tube that comes out of the arm there. So that's what we want to aim for. So I'll position it about here. We'll scale it until it's a little bit larger than that. Will probably do us. Maybe a bit more. Okay. Check back with the reference image how this connects. Alright. So now what we're going to want to do is go over into edit mode, and we're going to want to start dragging out some of these edges. So let's line that up there. Back into edit mode. We're going to want to go edge select, and we'll start by making the flat top. So the flat top begins around halfway around the circle. So we're going to want to select the edges which begin here. So we'll select all of the edges around there. Up until the opposite side. Can be a little bit tricky selecting these because they're quite narrow, but we should be able to get them all. Okay, once we have all of those, we can then go back to our left view and drag them out. Give us a flat top. Let's take a look back at the reference image, see the approximate scale of this. Right, so it's probably about the same length as the round parts we have coming out of the arm. That's probably about correct there. Then what I'm going to do is in our tools, we'll get the knife. I should go into vertex mode first of all, and I'm going to draw a knife cut between this vertex and this one, and we'll spin it around and we'll do the same on the other side. So a knife cut between the lower and upper vertex there. Then we can delete all those faces. Finally, we go back to edge select. We'll select our 4 edges here. And then we can go to make edge face. Back to our left view. We'll drag that out a little bit more. And there we go. Okay, the next thing then is going to be placing a loop cut around there. If it will allow us. Seemingly not. Okay, so instead we'll just go around to a right view and we'll use our knife then control to get the midpoint and there, like so. We'll move that edge back. And then grab the face. I'm going to extrude this out. Now we'll go to a front view because I only want to extrude this around halfway because we're going to mirror this object to make the other side, which will save us a little bit of work having to recreate this and match it on the opposite edge there. So we'll come over then into object mode and we'll add a mirror modifier. I want to mirror this on the z-axis. Our center point is a little bit off there, so it isn't merging properly. It isn't mirroring properly because it's mirroring around the center axis there. We want to offset that. So we can choose as our mirror object the arm. And then we'll move those together until it merges. Might increase our merge limit a little bit. Okay, let's go to the top view. That's about right. Okay, so what we can do then is apply that mirror and then move this into position. So there we have the hinge part for the wrist. And we can join this to the other object and then it will be mirrored over onto the opposite side. Next part then is this cylinder that basically runs straight through before we can start building the hand. So that's very easy to do. We're just going to, in object mode, create a cylinder, which will scale down, rotate on the y-axis again 90 degrees, go to a top view and I'll position it where we need it, scale, and we'll go to a front view. Need to drag that down into position. Scale it a little more. We're going to scale on the x-axis to make it longer. Again, go to our top view, center it up. Check back with our reference image. Everything looks about right. We may want to go slightly bigger. Now I want this to be about the same width as what the Wall-E hand is going to be. So let's say the hand is approximately 3 arm lengths wide. So we'll go to a front view, and whatever width this is, you want to be replicated on each side, I think. So we might want to scale down a little bit on the X. And then again, Shift, select the arm, Object, Join. And now that's replicated over on the right side as well. So the next part that we need to work on is going to be the top part of the hand here, which again is going to be mirrored because it's 2 pieces, it's just flipped over onto the opposite side there. So I think we'll make this out of a box object, which will then reshape. And we're just going to build, actually, first of all, the top part of the hand, and then say this joint here, and then there's the fingers below, which will make as a separate piece. So I'll start first just with this here, which we'll make out of a box. So object mode, we'll create a new cube, scale it down, and position it so everything that we've been doing basically previously. We just want to get it into position first of all and make sure it's approximately the right size before we begin. So we'll scale a little bit on the x-axis. And then we'll go to our left view. And we'll scale down on the z-axis, make this thinner. It's going to be approximately this thickness to begin with, and we'll taper it down later. And we'll go to a top view just to make sure everything fits. Yes, it's all okay. All right. So the shape tapers up and then tapers again towards this finger joint here. We'll add those curved edges later by using the bevel. So first of all, we're going to want to go into edit mode. We go to our left view. And we'll create a loop cut. Just going to go back into object mode and scale this up just a little bit on the z-axis. Okay, back to edit mode. All right. Okay, so we've got like a curved here coming up to this tapered edge. So that's what we'll create to start with. Edge select that bottom edge, and we'll drag it out. Oops. this front edge here. And it comes up. This edge will also bring out and up a little. And then we'll create another loop cut. I'll just select the bottom edge only. So just temporarily I'm going to hide this. So select the object there, we'll hide it. Grab this back into edit mode. Grab that bottom edge, pull it down. Reveal this again. Okay, and I'll bring that forwards and up. I'm going to bring the back edge down. So let's check back with the reference image. Okay. This edge here then also needs to come forwards. And then we'll extrude out from the face. And those two top edges are going to be tapered down a little bit. Mostly it's the bottom edge that comes up towards where that joint will be. Everything there is in shape. It's a little bit large right now. And the other thing we need to do then is drag out here. So we'll grab these two faces. And that'll be extruded out to around halfway across the hand there. I'm going to grab the two front faces. And we'll move those back a little bit. Just want to move everything back. So we'll select the edge loop here. Because this hand is just a little bit long right now. Let's check back with the reference image about how far we need to go. It's about 2 times the diameter of the wrist. So that'll probably do us for now. And I'm also going to shrink down a little at the back. Okay, now we can select this top edge here and Control B to bevel. We'll bevel that and increase the number of segments to the maximum of 8, so it's rounded. We'll also then do the same on the bottom here. We'll round it a little bit more. The same here. And the same here. So it should give us a more curved bottom edge there. Now let's check back with the reference image. It's all looking about right. That should be a sharp corner there. Let's make sure that we kept that. So we did. Now I'm just going to grab these two edges here. They need moving up a little bit. Give a sharper corner there. I'm going to grab those edge loops and move them back a little bit. And finally, the two front faces, and we'll drag those back a little bit as well. Okay, now I'm going to go into object mode. I'm going to select this. First of all, we're going to rename this the arm, so it's easy to identify. Now I want to add a mirror modifier. The mirror modifier, we're going to mirror on the x-axis. We mirror around the arm. Let's mirror on the z-axis. Now we don't want those to quite join together, so we want to drag them close, but not quite close enough that they merge. We can apply that mirror modifier, and everything should line up for us. If we go to the top view, okay, excellent. Everything lines up. And now we join this to the rest of the arm. Actually, I'm going to keep this as a separate piece because later on when we rig the model, it may be better if it's a separate piece that can be animated itself. So the mirror modifier that we have on the arm we can now apply. And now this mirror modifier on the hand, I'm going to add a new mirror modifier on the z-axis, and our mirror object is going to be the body. And it's mirrored on the x. Now you see it's copied over to the other side. Okay, next thing then I want to rotate this down. So I'll rotate on the x-axis. As you can see, his hands are pointing downwards. I'll rotate a bit more. Okay. So there's the first part of Wall-E's hands done. In the next part of the tutorial, we'll be finishing off the hands before we move on to the tracks and the mobility system. So thanks for tuning into this tutorial. You can download the project file from underneath this video. There's a link, so you can download the project file to tutorial 13 so you can compare to your own model, or you can use that model to jump in with tutorial number 14. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you can keep up to date with the new tutorials here. So we're almost done, probably another 5 or 6 tutorials to finish off the modeling of Wall-E here before we move on to rigging the model and texturing it and finally animation. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.